We caught the mining industry in an $80 billion PR scam. Here's how they did it.
3 little words, GST. It's killing me.
The Minerals Council of Australia, whose main members are multinational foreign-controlled mining operations, have been releasing a report since 2014 detailing company tax and royalties paid by the mining industry. And the most recent one, released last month, shows that over the past 10 years, since 2010, the mineral industry has paid $130 billion in company tax. But what they fail to cover, and what's very important, is that the mineral industry in Australia, because it's an export industry, gets a GST return. So when we buy something, we have to pay GST on it. And that's the same thing with all the mining companies. However, the Australian government have decided that if the mining companies as an exporter have to pay GST, that means Australia's exports would be 10% less competitive than the rest of the world's. So the mining industry, every industry that exports things, same with the health industry, same with the education, gets all the GST they paid every month paid back to them by the ATO.
No, Kel, you haven't added much. And you have to separate all the crumbs off the schnitzels because they attract their own 10%.
Kath, I know what I'm doing.
What? Won't say another word.
Bloody Howard.
Now, the mining industry, because they have to buy so much inputs to produce coal or whatever, get roughly 60% of the company tax they pay back in GST. It's a 60%. So that means it's roughly over the last 10 years, $80 billion they've had paid back in GST refunds. That's a massive amount of money. However, the mineral industry, Deloitte, who commissioned the report, the newspapers who've been reporting on it, and the Resources Minister, Keith Pitt, have all reported that one company tax figure, the $130 billion, as though it was gospel. So when you're reading those reports, you would never assume that that would be the case. There's a massive lack of context with the mineral industry's propaganda. We went to the newspapers, the AFR and the Australian particularly, who's been covering this for a long time. We went to the Resource Minister, Keith Pitt. We went to Deloitte. We went to the Minerals Council themselves and also the members of the Minerals Council. None of them wanted to engage with us, except for Deloitte. And their response was the Nuremberg defense. We were just doing what we were told. We were asked a very specific question. And then we asked, well, we caught you out not providing any sort of context. And they said, no, we're not misleading the public. We were very clear about what we were doing. We have no responsibility for the effects of our work. The next time you hear politicians, the newspapers, or the mining lobby talking about the contributions of the mining industry to Australia, take it with a grain of salt. Thanks for listening. If you want to read more about royalties and taxes in Australia, check out the report online. It'll be in the description. Like and subscribe.